Hello, my name is Steve Hicks, and welcome to the Management of the Professional Certification course. This is a brief introductory unit to help you understand who I am, what this course is about, and how do you conduct this course. First, a little background on me. I said my name is Steve Hicks. I'm a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering out of the University of Missouri in 1977. I spent a 35-year career in research and development in Procter & Gamble across the range of most businesses, ranging from what is today called beauty care products, healthcare products, food products, beverage products, I spent my last 12 years working on the development of flavors and fragrances for all of our worldwide brands. So anything from the flavor that went into Crest toothpaste or the fragrance that went into Ariel or Pantene was done within my organization. Managed a large group of people, 127 technologists across 10 different technical centers around the world. You'll notice a lot of this lecture will relate to innovation, will relate to managing global organizations, and you'll find that I'll use a lot of my own personal experiences as case studies and basis for helping understand this material. Today I'm run my own consulting company, Hicks Innovation Consultants LLC. As well as being an adjunct instructor here at the University of Cincinnati College of Engineering and Applied Sciences. I teach this same course at the graduate level in University of Cincinnati Engineering School. This course has the same content, but not the same in-depth research associated with what we do in the live course. On the screen, on the slide, you will see my LinkedIn page in case you want to reference it. Personally married, 3 adult children, one of which is an engineer, and certainly live here in Cincinnati and enjoy teaching this course. What is this course? This is a basic primer in management for all of you who are engineers or scientists going into industry. It is not an MBA, albeit I cover most MBA type topics. It is breadth, not depth, meaning I'm not going to go terribly deep into any one of them, but it's going to give you a full spectrum understanding of what companies are about, what the relationship between engineering science with industry is all about, and importantly, how do you manage other people and how will other people manage you. As I tell my live course on the university, I'd like to probably retitle this course, "This is what I wish I knew when I graduated from engineering school," because these are typically topics that are not taught to engineers, and it's important for you to understand it so that you're successful in your career. We're going to talk a range of topics in this course, ranging all the way from business strategy and understanding financial statements, all the way through managing people and human resources, and we'll come back and talk about the various units in a minute. Who is this course targeted for? It is targeted for scientists and engineers. It is going to be most relevant to those of you who have less than 5 years experience in industry. For those of you who have more than 5 years experience, I think you'll probably find some of this material a bit redundant, largely because you've personally experienced this as you've worked in industry. And importantly, it's a management course, but it's not just for those of you who will be managing other people, although this is necessary material to understand that. But it's also for those of you who are going to be managed by somebody else, which by definition is all of you. It's important to understand the filter through which management views the world. They view your work, they view their mission in relationship to contributing to a business. And for you to be successful in your career, you need to understand how your manager views the world and how they view your work and the context of how to make sure that you make a meaningful contribution to that business. And so I think in that vein, I think this course hopefully will be helpful to you in understanding the linkages, if you will, between engineering work and in industry and the business world. What is this course? As I mentioned before, this is breadth, not depth. Oops, wrong way. Let me talk a little bit about course learning objectives. First is really to understand how business works. You've spent your academic career understanding engineering, be it chemical or mechanical, electrical, or one of the other fields, so you understand technically how the world works and the physics by which things work. And this is going to be a short, simple primer about how business works. We're going to talk quite a bit about business strategy and its applications, meaning what are the choices that businesses make in order to be successful. We're going to talk about understanding organizational design and effectiveness. How do companies put together organizations and teams of people? Why do they make choices about different designs of groups to be able to do that? And what makes those different groups of engineers and scientists and other people effective or ineffective and how they do that? We're going to talk, no great surprise, about innovation in industry. Most of you, because you're engineers and scientists, are in the innovation field, and you will need to understand the context of how to match innovation with what makes that a successful business. We will then switch gears a little bit and talk about what I'll call the soft science of management, which involves people management. So we'll talk personal leadership and effective communication in industry. We will discuss understanding how to work in a global and a diverse work environment, and certainly the basics of good people management, and we will spend quite a bit of time on that. Why do you need this course? Let me give you the basis of why I think you need this course. In my 35-year career in Procter & Gamble, I've managed hundreds and hundreds of different scientists and engineers during the course of my career, for most of my career. And in my experience, engineers and scientists rarely fail in their careers because they're not good scientists and engineers. All of you are educated very well in understanding how to do engineering, how to do science, how to do innovation. That's what you're taught to do. You cannot survive and graduate from engineering school without being sharp and without being able to do that. Where I see science and engineers fail in industry is everything else. They fail in terms of being able to learn how to communicate. They fail in terms of understanding what the context of their work is to contributing to the needs and the goals and objectives of a business. They fail in terms of how to work with groups. They fail in terms of how to work in a global organization or diverse organizations. They fail in the people management elements of this. They fail in the things that typically are not often taught in engineering school, but are absolute essentials necessary to succeed in the business world. And so what this course is really about is to teach you all that soft science. You almost can think about it more as a training course, if you will, as opposed to a course curriculum, such that it basically gives you, hopefully, an introductory basis to understand how to do your work in a business and industrial setting so that you can be successful and the company can see you as a meaningful contributor. It's also how to manage your own career. As I mentioned before, this is a course not just for those of you who will be managing other people, but those of you who will be managed by others. Managing the success of your career and what does success look like is uniquely owned by you. You need to make the choices associated with what career path you follow and how you make meaningful contributions and what will be seen as valuable by the company that you work for. And hopefully I can give you some tips and some principles to help understand that. Another piece why you need this course is it's a business. And again, largely through your academic career learning science and engineering, you haven't necessarily learned that the output from what you need to do isn't just a spec, isn't just a design, isn't just a new chemical process or a rocket or whatever it is you design. It's a business, and businesses need to make profit in order to survive. The right solutions associated with the innovation that you do inside of a business is one that, yes, is good science, and yes, it's good engineering design, but it also contributes to the sales and profit objectives of the business for which you contribute. And importantly, this course is around what I call setting your internal compass. You're going to find that this course is principle-based, so unlike many engineering classes where there's algorithms and there's case study problems and there's numbers and there's solutions and there's a right solution, you're going to find most of this course is based on principles and applications of those principles and developing an internal gut or internal intuition about how to apply those principles in business situations, particularly related to the management of people. Unlike engineering, managing people is an inexact science. You're dealing with beings that are not necessarily always rational, that they react associated with what's logical and right, but they also react by virtue of their emotions, and that impacts how all of you view the world and how all of your future employees view the world. And so what I'm hoping to do is help it set what I call your internal compass, your internal intuition, to understand how to apply those principles such that you can succeed in business and such that you can manage other people if you're in a management position to be able to do that. The course format, the content you're going to need is all in those online lectures. You will find that we've broken this up into 10 basic learning modules or learning units, each of which have short 20 to 30 minute videotaped lectures. As you view this, you should be seeing both me as well as another window that contains the slides that I'm looking at, and the entire course will be that format. There are in total about 57 lectures altogether, and so, but again, they're broken out by within 10 different learning modules. This says the certification course. There is no other required reading material. However, I'm about to show you a list of recommended reading material that I think will help you in terms of supplemental understanding of this material in the course. You know, all of them are long books and detailed books. So you certainly don't need to or shouldn't read all of them. But if you have particular interest in some of them, I'll try to give you some guidelines in terms of the reference text that you can pick up elsewhere that you may find of interest if you want to study this further. The evaluation for you will be based on test questions at the end of each one of the major units. That's different than how I run the University of Cincinnati course. The Cincinnati graduate level course is a research-based course. You actually apply these principles into case studies, into studying companies and industries and case study personnel situations, because the finesse of this course is really how do you apply the principles. That would be difficult, if not impossible, to do in this certification course. So you'll find the test questions are really one of making sure that you understand the content of what's presented to you, but it'll fall short of the real in-depth application things that you can get in the live University of Cincinnati course. If you're interested in that, I'd certainly recommend that you sign up for the live course, and you'll certainly get college credit for that. As I mentioned before, this has 10 learning units across 10 basic topics, and each consisting of several 20 to 30 minute lecture videos. Let me give you the optional reference books, and again, none of these are required for this course. The content you need to understand for the certification is all in the online video. But here are course materials that are course reference books that I found handy. In fact, I collected some of the material and some of the charts that you're going to see for this lecture from these units. Two of them have very similar names. One of them is called Management for Engineers, Technologists, and Scientists. The other one's called Management for Engineers, Scientists, and Technologists. They only differ by the order in the words. The first one by Willem Nel is a South African book. The second one by Chisholm Payne and Revell is a British book. Each of them are better and particular certain topics than others in terms of understanding business or people management and so on. So even though the topics the titles are very, very similar, you'll find that some books are better in some topics and the other books are better in other topics. The thing that's different about both those books relative to what I teach is actually labor law. No great surprise, labor law plays a major role in management, and the South African book relates to South African labor law. The British book relates to British labor law, and the things that I'll be talking to you about is U.S. labor law. And so those labor law pieces of both books are things that I will not be referring to. The third book is Management of Professionals, which happens to meet the title of this course. Was written by Richard Shell, who is a professor here at the University of Cincinnati, and it is particularly good in the people management aspects of this, which we'll largely get into in the second half of the course. Three other books that again are optional reference materials if you're interested. One is called Drive: The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us by Daniel Pink. If you're familiar with the TED lectures that you can find online daily, there is a couple TED lectures by Daniel Pink, one of which deals with this particular topic. It's a 15-minute lecture and it's very useful. He has written a book that's associated with that called Drive: The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us. You will hear me reference this particular book and this particular author material a lot. It espouses some principles that I have found to be absolutely true about what actually motivates employees in the workforce, and particularly what motivates engineers and scientists. And when we talk about motivation, we'll certainly talk about that. And the two other books listed here are actually very old books. One was written in 1980, the other one about 1985. One called Competitive Strategy, one called Competitive Advantage by Michael Porter out of the Harvard Business School. These are the two definitive books written about strategy and competitive advantage. Michael Porter is the ultimate author of those and the originator. I think they've named schools or wings of Harvard Business School after Michael Porter based on these breakthrough books. I had the opportunity to actually learn this material from Michael Porter himself back in the mid-'80s with some work that he did with Procter & Gamble at that time. And it forms the core foundation of principles that I happen to believe in terms of strategy and in terms of competitive advantage. And you'll hear me reference his work and those principles a lot during the course. This shows the 10 basic units. Again, this course is made up of 10 large units, each of which have subtopics or sub-lectures within them. The first one is this course overview, and we'll talk a bit about roles of management and the changing environment of work and employees. The workforce that all of you have just entered or will enter is different than the one that I entered 37 years ago. And you need to understand the context of that and how the work has changed and how your environment will change for you to be successful as an employee. And frankly, also understand older managers in your organization and how they might view work a little differently than you. The second unit is on business basics. This is basics in terms of how a business runs, how a value chain operates, how to understand financial statements. Again, this is not an MBA course. You're not going to get an in-depth finance understanding at all, but it's going to give you enough just so you can understand what's important to your management, such that as you make particular contributions, you can put that together with the business. The third is on organizational effectiveness, and this is about how, again, what makes organizations effective and ineffective. The behavior of groups of people is different than the behavior of individuals, and management makes choices in terms of how to run them and how to organize them to try to be effective, and we'll talk about some of those principles. Fourth is business strategy, and again, this would largely reflect the work of Michael Porter that I'll reference. The fifth unit is on managing innovation. We'll talk about the innovation process, what represents innovation, and importantly, how to protect it. We're going to talk a little bit about intellectual property and patents, because that will be most relevant to you as engineers and scientists in the working world. The sixth unit is about acquisitions and partnerships. All of you, one way or another, during the course of your career will be either part of a company that's acquired, or a company that's acquiring somebody else, or a partnership or some relationship with an outside vendor or an outside customer or an outside company. And the principles by which you operate those are unique and different from the way you might operate with an employee of the same company that's sitting in the office next to you, and we will talk about that. The second part of the course, 7, 8, 9, 10, is the part where we completely shift gears. The first half is what I'll call the left brain part of the course, where it seems very logical and rational and hard numbers and structured. The 7, 8, 9, 10 deals with what I call the soft science, or the right brain part of this course, which deals with how do you manage people and how do you interact with them and get the most out of the contribution that they make. So Unit 7 is managing global organizations and diversity. Those are two different topics, but I put them together because some of the principles by which you operate successfully in a global organization and the principles by which you work in a diverse organization are very, very similar. And so we will talk that in Unit 7. I have Units 8 and 9 about managing technical people, and this is a very large range of human resources type topics, ranging all the way from policy and compensation to how do you handle different situations with people. And we will end the course with Unit 10 on leadership and communication, and importantly for those of you who will be managers, managing change and conflict. Change and conflict are a key and necessary component of doing business today, and it is a reality within the workplace, and one of the things that you will need to be very, very good at is how do you manage that change and how do you manage that conflict such that you're successful and you're functional. That is the end of Unit 1A, and next we will go on to Unit 1B talking about roles of management.